On the path of your life, is the best version of yourself in front of you or behind you?
Today we're talking about the 5 levels of aspiration.
You're listening to the Pathway Podcast, helping you find your path to fitness success. With your hosts, Rex Andrews and Jonathan Canales.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the Pathway Podcast. I'm Rex.
And I'm Jonathan.
Jonathan, man, getting stuff done. That's what life's all about, right?
Oh, yeah, exactly. You got goals, you're trying to accomplish certain things, you're trying to get after it.
That's it, man. I feel like that's something that we all feel, but there's different levels of it, right? Like there's the people who are just crushing it at life. They get everything done. And there's people who are like just trying to keep their head above water. Like, listen, man, talk to me about goals tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm just so busy right now. I can't even think about goals, or I haven't done that in years. I don't even know how to process that. I'm just trying to get to the weekend.
Yeah. And so we were thinking about, we were doing some testimonials with our clients, and we were putting together like the system that we've been working with our clients on for so long. We call it the Limitless Pathway, and we're giving it to our clients, but it's all about that mindset, the fitness, nutrition that you need to be in the best shape of your life, right? And we know that seems way out there.
It's a big promise.
Whoa, best shape of your life. Yeah, because when you know the stuff that you need to, and it's a priority for you, then there's no limit to how far you can go, right? It's limitless.
Yeah, you just keep pushing, because once you know what you need to do, and you've started and you have the momentum on your side, it's there might be a few weeks throughout the year where you're off or you're on vacation, but you know how to get back. You know how to get that momentum back on your side and keep going. So you just keep growing, keep getting better until you are that best version of yourself.
Yeah. And so we were thinking about that, and we've been putting that together, and that's the real key thing that's so common with all of our clients is they just want more. They want to accomplish more. They want to keep growing. And so we were thinking about it, this is only for people who want to be the best version of themselves, right? And so we were thinking about that of, okay, where was the best version of yourself? And we kind of broke it down, and we're there's really 5 levels of aspiration, where you set that goal of this is the best version of myself. This is where I want to go in my life. And then after that, we'll see.
yeah, exactly. And so I think a lot of those people start with you asked that question at the beginning of, is the best version of yourself behind you or ahead of you? Mm-hmm. And it's so many people think, man, the best days of my life are behind me. The best 4 years of my life are in college, right? Yeah. I had these glory days where I was in really good shape, but
yeah, I think everybody knows that guy. That's Uncle Rico, right?
Yeah.
Back in my day, I could throw the football a quarter mile, right?
Yeah, exactly. I could bench 200 pounds whenever I was in high school,
or
whatever. And it's just so you're letting this idea of who you used to be stop you from even trying to be a better version of yourself now, because you're well, I could never be better than Glory Day guy.
Yeah, that's the glory days, man. Things were so simple back then. I was crushing it. And that's definitely a spot a lot of people are in. I think just because you get caught up in the momentum of life, you're man, I'm not happy about where things are now, but what am I going to do about it? I'm so busy. I'm so caught up with work, and I have a lot of priorities, and I just can't make the time. But man, it's nice to reminisce about what I used to have, what I used to be. Man, that is not nobody. When you're at a party and you're talking to the Uncle Rico guy, you're oh, that's cool, man.
Cool, Rico.
Yeah, nobody wants to be Uncle Rico, right? We all know the glory day guy, but man, that's not who we should be trying to be, right?
Yeah, I love the phrase, you're only as good as your last at bat.
Sure,
and so it's if you had this one at bat that was incredible, where you maybe hit the game-winning home run, and you just keep talking about that, but you're striking out every other time after that.
You guys remember when I hit that home run?
Yeah, no one cares. It's you're the worst player on our team now. You just keep striking out. I don't care if you hit that home run a year ago.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah, you got to keep working for sure. So that's probably the most common one. Everybody knows Glory Days guy, but then there's a guy who just never even considers what is the best version of himself.
Yeah.
My dad was that guy. My dad was hard-working dude, laying power lines. He was he used to haul wood and stuff, just really physical tasks, right? But that guy worked for the weekend. His version of fun was playing dominoes, gambling, or just sitting on the porch in complete silence staring at his property. How are you doing this?
Yeah,
he'd just sit there for hours and just stare out.
You don't get bored? Just sitting there?
Goals, anything you want to, he's just trying to make it through tomorrow,
Yeah, and I get that, man. I think a lot of the times, like you were saying earlier, we're just so busy. We're caught up in the day-to-day, what the next task is.
Yeah.
And when you've done task after task after task throughout the day, it's like, at the end of the day, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to, like, think about who I am or what I want to be. I just want to, like, chill, maybe watch some TV and maybe, like, have a few beers, hang out. Like, I don't need to go any further than that.
Yeah, but there was so much that he was missing out on, you know? Like, my dad died broke. He died with, like, debtors calling him, right? He could never get ahead in life because he never got outside of what I'm doing today. I just got to work hard today. I got to put my nose to the grindstone, right? He could never, like, step back and say, like, what would the best version of myself be here? How could I be more effective? How could I live better? He's just like, let me survive. So there's the glory days guy who was like, back in the day, man, I was killing it. And then there's the working man who's just nose to the grindstone. I'm just trying to make it, right? By the way, we use man, and we're talking about guys because we're guys, right?
Yeah, that's who we can relate to.
This is the gender neutral guy. There's the female version of this as well. We could use the pronoun she, but I think we're going to stick with man for this one.
I like G. I'd never heard that before.
G, yeah. I think that's what got Jordan Peterson fired. He's like, I'm not calling
never mind.
Yeah. So if you have the glory days guy and you have the working man, the third version, this is where a lot of our clients start out at. And it's a very, like, understandable place to be. It's very commendable. But it's the family man. It's the guy who is a provider, right? He's got his family. He's got his job. He's probably successful. He takes care of everybody else, right? He's checked all the right boxes in life of, like, this is my responsibility. This is what I'm supposed to do. But in doing that, he never took care of himself. He put himself on the back burner because I got to make sure I have the time for the kids. I got to work hard at my job so I get that promotion and get that raise and give everything I can to them. And he does well in all those aspects of his life, but he doesn't realize how much more he can have, how much more he could do if he was showing up for his family and for his work as a healthy version of himself.
Yeah, dude, I feel like that is 100% just my dad growing up too, because it was just like he would constantly be sacrificing sleep or sacrificing his health so that he could be there for us, so he could do more around the house, so that my mom didn't have to do things after working hard. So he cared so much about providing for that family and, like, being that family man that he never once thought about, like, what is it doing to my long-term health if I'm sleeping 4 hours a night, or if I'm just eating whatever I want, or
and he's been in pain, right?
Yeah, been tons of pain.
Yeah, and just never addressing it.
Yeah, well, he's tried. He's tried to go to doctors. He's tried certain things, but then it's like he just doesn't, like, do what he needs to do consistently to be able to, like, get through that.
To get out of it.
Yeah, and so it's like, I think for a lot of those, like, family man type guys, it's like maybe you have, tried a little bit, or maybe there's some reason why you haven't, worked on yourself or really tried to be healthy, and then you just kind of, like, don't want to face that pain or don't want to work through that stuff. So it's very easy to justify, well, I'm just spending all my time with my family and work, and so I don't have time for that, or I can't do that for this reason. But if you're really trying to aspire to be the best version of yourself, then you have to find a workaround, because if your family needed it or your job needed it, you would.
Yeah.
So when you need it and your health needs it, you just shut down and don't do anything? That doesn't make sense.
No, and you're more like patching things, right? Like when things get really bad, okay, well, I'll go to the doctor, I'll go to the physical therapist, I'll, like, get through enough to then be back to my baseline if I'm holding on.
Yeah.
Until something else happens again. We get a lot of guys come to us when the doctor tells them, you're pre-diabetic, and this is going to get worse from here, right? We get people that come in and, like, they're 300 pounds, and they're like, I saw that number on the scale, and, like, I know 300-pound guys don't live very long. Right?
Yeah, I got to do something now.
Yeah, like, when you care about your family, you love your family, what you want is more time with them, right? If you were on your deathbed, it was the end, and you had one wish, it would be just for more time. And if you're not prioritizing your health, you're taking away time from yourself.
Yeah, so all that, like, all those days where you're saying I'm too busy or I'm too tired or you're making whatever excuse, like, actually positioning that in your brain of, I'm taking years off my life by not making time for this now.
Yeah. And so it's great to have those goals and show up for your family and show up for your career. But imagine how you could be showing up for them if you just made the time to take care of yourself, right? So we got the glory days guy who, it's in the past, it's behind him, and we're on that downhill slide from here, baby. I'm wearing
I can throw the football a quarter mile.
That's right. I got my Letterman jacket on at Molly's, and I'm 45. And then we got the guy who's the working man, nose of the grindstone. Man, I'm just trying to make it through. I don't care where I go. And there's the family man who's taking care of everybody else, not making the time for himself, right? Holding on as best he can, and he'll fix a problem if it shows up, right? And then there's the guy who's like, there's a couple different versions of this guy, right? There's like the vacation guy who's like, date's coming up. All right, let's tighten this up, man. This guy I feel like has always done like some kind of intense fitness program. He did P90X and got abs 10 years ago. It's like, I've done this before. I know how to do it.
Yeah, anytime I need to lose weight, I'll just do P90X and I can just lose weight fast.
And then just each time more diminishing returns.
Yeah,
like less and less.
Well, I'm just getting older, so it's getting harder, and I just can't do it as easily.
Yeah, all these guys have done the meal prep where you just have chicken, rice, and vegetables, and they ate that nonstop for 3 months and got in great shape, but then couldn't make it stick. And they're like, oh, I know how to do it. I can get right back to that. But they didn't learn like the strategy of being healthy. They just learned quick tactic to look like a bodybuilder for a day and then lost it as soon as they stopped working on it.
Yeah, and those guys are also like justifying it as well because they're like, well, I mean, I could just do this at any point, and I would be there, but I just don't have that next vacation coming up, or I don't have that thing that I'm looking forward to. So why even waste energy trying to worry about health right now?
Yeah, and the other version of the vacation guy is like meathead guy, where he's just working out for aesthetics, right? Just trying to look good, doing bicep curls in the squat rack. And so we talk about aspiration from a sense of your health and your fitness because, man, that's the first piece of it, when you're caught up in the momentum of life and you're like, man, I just don't have time to take care of myself. I don't have time to get things done. You don't know how much more you can accomplish if you don't take care of your health, right? You're just getting through, checking the boxes of everything you have to do. And like, because you have strengths other places, because you're a good provider, because you look good on the beach or whatever it is, like you're not even thinking about what is the best version of myself, right? But because we have strength, that doesn't mean we can't address our weaknesses. That doesn't mean we can't just try to be like overall the best version of ourselves to show up and accomplish more, right?
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, man. I really identified as this guy. Like whenever I was starting, like it was always about how I looked.
Yeah.
And it was just like, okay, I need to lose 30 pounds because I have this vacation coming up, or I'm going to see these people, so I really want to look good. And when you get into it and you think beyond that and you start realizing like, yeah, I push myself to do things that I didn't think were possible in the gym. Yeah. And if I can do that there, why am I not doing that in other aspects of my life? Like, really, I have to have an argument with myself about laundry when like I'm trying to do all these.
It's the best version of myself. Yeah. Like, gonna leave that in the dryer for 3 days.
Come on, man. Like, you're better than that.
Yeah.
But it's easy to like not realize that when you're not pushing yourself physically. So when that's like one of the harder parts of your day is getting yourself to do things you don't want to do, and then you just get used to just saying, yeah, that's okay to leave the clothes there. It's okay to not go work out or whatever it may be. You're literally just telling yourself it's okay to be less than my best.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's not okay consistently.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's not okay. And like you will like fall down, right? We're not going to be perfect, but
for sure,
just that driving for better makes us better, right? Just trying to push ourselves a little further. Like we were talking about, like a vacation guy, right? If he's like, a version of dieting is I'm super strict, I eat chicken and rice nonstop for 3 months, and then that's it. Then I'm back to eating whatever I want, right? Yeah. That's not real health. That's not having a handle on your nutrition, right? Like nutrition's something you're going to face every single day for the rest of your life. You're going to have to eat. So you might as well like know how to eat well, know how to fuel yourself, take care of yourself, so there's not this pressure and guilt surrounded by diets, or you're like identify as like it's okay to be the fat guy, so I'm just going to eat whatever I want for the rest of my life, right?
Yeah, no one thinks it's okay to be the fat guy.
I think a lot of people do because they think that this pushing yourself to be the best version of yourself is unattainable. So they'd rather say, it's okay, like I'm good being the fat guy, and not pushing themselves to see what they can get done.
Yeah, I guess as somebody who told myself that it was okay to be the fat guy, like I don't think that you actually think that's okay.
Yeah, because like, now you're on the other side of it, right? You're like, oh, it's so easy to break through that.
Yeah, well, it's just like you tell yourself that, and it's really just I don't want to put in the work. I don't want to like figure this out because I can't. So like instead of telling myself that every day, I'm just going to tell myself, I'm cool with being the fat guy. I'll just be funny. I'll be successful in my career. I'll do other things. I don't need to be in shape.
Yeah.
But you're just really missing out on how to push yourself to be that best version and get the most out of life.
You really get the most out of life when you have your health and when you have a handle on this stuff and there's no more pressure and no more guilt and it's not unattainable, which brings us to the fifth version of this, right? If there's the glory days guy who's it's behind me and I'm on that downhill slide, and man, if you're 40 or 50 and you are allowing yourself to say the best version of myself is behind me, what do the next 30 to 40 years look like? It gets worse day to day after this, right?
Yeah.
If you're the working man who's just head down to the grindstone, I don't think that you're the kind of person who listens to this podcast if you're the working man, right?
Yeah,
Because you're looking to grow. You're trying to get yourself out and you're trying to do better. So you've moved up the ladder. And that's what's really cool about this is like you can change where you're at on this. And we have so many people who start as the family man who give to everybody else until they're in trouble. The same way that you've been successful there, if you apply a little bit of focus, just get the strategy that you need, you can make it happen with your health, right? It's not unattainable. It's not outside your realm of focus. And it's not going to take over your entire life to do it, right? It just takes a little time to figure out the strategy that you need. And that's how we get outside of being a vacation guy. If you've been the guy who like just pushes himself a little bit when you've got a vacation coming up, you keep it in your ego of like, I need to look good on the beach and I'll make time for it when I can, but it's not a real priority. I'm not actually taking care of myself here, right? This is just for how I look. The real way to do this, the person that I'm striving to be, right? When everything we've done at Pathway, we've done with the intention of, we want you to have your health for life, right? We don't want you to just get in shape for a diet. We want to help you accomplish your goals. We want you to think about the end of the road, right? To us, the main goal here should be the best version of you is at the end of the road. When it's all over with, that's the best version of you because you continue to level up everywhere in your life. And yeah, the best version of you looks different at 40 than it did at 20. And you're not benching 350 pounds because you don't need to, right? What you do need to do is have your health, be in the shape that you can so you can continue to grow and contribute and make the time for things that you need to keep leveling up, right?
Yeah, and it really fires me up just hearing you say that, man, because that is what we're about. We're about trying to teach people to take control of their health so they can be that best version. But the thing is, a lot of the times, regardless of where you are on the spectrum from what we've named, like getting started is just such a hard thing for a lot of people because they don't even realize that they could be this best version of themselves. Or they think, man, that's going to take 40 years or so long that like I don't even really want to do it. But really, just getting started, just saying, hey, I'm going to work towards this. I'm going to keep trying to push myself. I'm going to keep trying to get better with my health so I can raise all other bars.
That's right.
It goes a long way.
It goes a long way, and that's exactly what Clint told us. We just did a testimonial with one of our clients, Clint Henson, and he was over 300 pounds. Like, man, I have to do something about this. I have my kids. I have my family. And he tried for 6 months to do it on his own, like P90X, things he had done in the past, lost 10 pounds. 6 months with us, he's down 50 pounds, right?
Yes.
Yeah, 50 pounds. And, we talk about weight because it's like an easy way it's a big drastic thing that you can see, right? But the physical changes, the outside, is just a fraction of the change that happens when you put your health first. This guy went from saying, I want to lose a few pounds to saying, I'm going to be in the best shape of my life by I'm 40. He's like, I never ran more than a mile. I never rode my bike before, but like, I'm doing that now. I'm pushing myself. This guy's like showing up at the gym. It was the last day of the month for that challenge, right? And I was ahead of him by like 30 points. He's in bed, sees I'm ahead of him, gets out of bed, goes works out just to make sure he beats me.
At like 10 o'clock p.m.
10 o'clock, yeah. This is like he's looking to just keep pushing himself and keep growing. And it wasn't outside of reach. It was just figuring out what he needed to do to make that happen, right?
And if you talk to Clint, there's things that he does now in his just like weekly routine of just how he lives life.
Yeah.
That if you would have asked him that like 8 months ago, he'd be like, no, dude, like that's for healthy people that are like, health nuts or whatever. I'm not those guys. I'm just like this fat guy that's an insurance salesman and I don't do that.
Yeah.
Like now he's just slowly kept getting better and like working at it and improving. And he's this guy that wants to be the healthiest version of himself, best shape of his life. And by 40, it's awesome.
It's worth the trade-off. Clint was somewhere between the working man and family man. Successful guy, has his own business, but just was not thinking about his health at all.
No.
He was drinking 4 Route 44 Dr. Peppers a day.
Yes.
A day. It's like 200 sweet tea. Sorry, not Dr. Pepper. not affiliated with Dr. Pepper. Don't drink those either. But like that's 250, 300 grams of sugar a day. And he wasn't even thinking about it. Like, why? He goes, I don't know. He was thirsty.
Yeah, it's just, well, you just get into the habit, you know? I think it's like what you allow, you promote. Right. And so you just start to allow that, and then over time, it's like, oh, yeah, I didn't realize that was that bad. I've always done it.
Yeah.
And, but it's like when you realize that I'm not done yet, that the best years of my life are ahead of me, and I need to keep working at it. It doesn't matter anymore how much time you have in your schedule or any of the other excuses you've told yourself. You just start to find a way to do what you can now and then build on that and keep going.
To keep getting better. And then you said, I'm not done, but I'm never done. It's at the end of this. I'm still pushing to see what I can accomplish. Our trainer, Mike Clearman, perfect example of that. Mike and Gail. That guy, 67 years old, had a full career in oil and gas, then gets into personal training. He did an internship program with us at like 65 years old. And then like, we're like, okay, you're no longer an intern, you're a trainer. He goes, oh, nope, like I'm still an intern. Like forced himself to be an intern for like a year because he felt like he had to earn it, right? Worked his ass off for a year, studied, worked so hard to become a great trainer. And at the same time, him and his wife are, again, 67 years old. Right now, they're in Africa hiking Mount Kilimanjaro, over 19,000 feet. And they're not just doing it for themselves. They're doing it to raise money to build water wells in Africa. That's what we're talking about. Like, that's real lifelong health. Mike has dedicated himself to be healthy, and it's not about his ego. The dude's jacked. It's incredible the shape that he's in. But, like, you tell him, like, dude, you jacked. He's like, oh, well, you know.
Most modest guy ever.
Most modest guy ever.
He's like, I'm like there in a workout with him. And he's like doing just as much or more weight than me at like 67 years old. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe this. And he's just, not a big deal. Not going to try to like make it about him or anything like that. He's just doing what he likes to do.
He's just pushing himself because he knows that his healthiest self is the best version of himself. That's what allows him to go to Africa to raise this money to build these water wells that he's continuing to contribute. He's looking for like, what else can he do? Like another guy, Donnie Click, like not traditionally, like not a gym guy, right? He's never like serious about working out, but Donnie Click is a mentor for us. Mm-hmm. He's been in the area that our gym's in here in Port of Texas for like 40 plus years, has his tire shop, and he runs Click Family Foundation. Gives local charities, helps these soldiers with PTSD, amazing stuff. And Donnie got really sick last year. He's had problems with his heart, and he was down in the hospital for like 6 months. And while he was down, he continued to work, sold property, bought a plane for a nonprofit in Africa, gave him a plane. Like that's insane. And like while he's sick, while he's like taking care of his health, he's like, I'm still going to contribute. As soon as Donnie was out of the hospital, what was the first conversation he had with us? Oh, I'm going to start walking now. I got to start getting back to the gym. Got to start being healthy, because he knows it doesn't matter. Like he has all the reasons to be like, I'm too old for this. I've had health problems. I should be done. But he's like, what else can I accomplish? What more can I do?
Yeah, and it's awesome because he's the kind of guy where like even if he doesn't come into the gym, I get like a text message or a call from him like, hey, just so you know, I've been walking. I've been doing my stuff. I'm still working. Like even though you can't see me, I'm still doing it. So when we're talking about like your health doesn't look the same when you're 25 versus when you're 65, it's just all in your actions, like all in your choices, but you get to decide what health looks like for you, like what that best version is, what the end of the road looks like. And it's just all in your choices.
Yeah, and when you're working on that best version of yourself, you're getting your health so that it opens up to what else can I do? What more can I accomplish? That's amazing. That's what our clients do. And when we have the conversations with people who make amazing transformations, that's what we realize is the real key thing. That's why we call our clients Pathletes, because it's more than just about a workout. It's more than getting ready for a vacation. These people have all taken control of their health to go, what else can I accomplish? How far can I push myself? We've seen that with Bobby. We've seen that with guys like Derek, who was on the verge of having back surgery, but instead said, like, I'm going to take control of this. How can I make myself feel better, right? Clint, clients like Greg in Indiana, we have like so many amazing examples of people who've taken control of their health, and they're not done. How much further can I go? What else can I accomplish? That is real aspiration.
Yeah, and that's what I love about this community here is yes, they're great at setting goals and like getting excited about those goals and then like putting in the work to get there. But it's not like, okay, I accomplished this one goal, I'm good, I'm going to go back to just doing what I was doing. It's like, okay, cool, I did that. What else can I do? Because I know that me coming in here, working on my health, consistently pushing myself, it's helping me be a better person so that I can make a better impact on my family and this whole community. So like that's what's so awesome about it is it's just teaching people to live limitless where they can do whatever they want.
That's it. So guys, take some time here. Think about what is your level of aspiration? Where do you fit in this? Like maybe you've been the glory days guy, right? Guy at parties that nobody wants to talk to. Talk about
Uncle Rico.
Uncle Rico. Don't be Uncle Rico, right? Maybe you've been the working man, just nose to the grindstone, getting work done, or you've put everybody else before yourself, like the family man. Maybe you've pushed yourself when it came to vacations, but you haven't thought about what that means for you and your health, right? If you're serious about getting the most out of life, then you gotta think the best version of you is ahead of you. The best version of you is at the end of the road here. So it doesn't matter what you've done in the past. It matters what we do now, right? If you're ready to start working on this, if you're ready to take control of your health, your fitness, know what you need to do to be that best version of yourself, we're here to help. And that's why we put together our Limitless Pathway program. You can get access to that program by going to mypathwaytraining.com/limitless. That's it for us this time on the Pathway Podcast, guys. We'll see you here next time on the Pathway Podcast.
Be that best version of yourself.
Thank you for listening to the Pathway Podcast.